You are once more welcome to this lecturer's room. We have a question here on calculus, which is on differentiation. The question asked us to make use of first principle to differentiate the value here. Here's the question. The question says differentiate using first principle. Y equal to 5x squared minus 4x plus 3. Now, if you have to differentiate making use of first principle, I'm going to use some steps now. Please follow those steps accordingly, and you can be able to use it for any question at all given to you. Just follow the step accordingly. This is the y value. Y equal to 5x squared minus 4x plus 3. That is the question that is we are asked to differentiate with first principle. Now, as we have it like this, since all the value are the x axis, that is these x variables, since they are in the form of x squared and x, then you can have your change in y-axis compared to what happened to the x-axis. Now take note of this. When you are to make that change, each of these values will have the change separately. Don't forget this is a constant. Obviously, this is a quadratic equation, a quadratic values. So each of these values here will have effect of that change that happened to the y-axis. This 3 will not have any effect on it because it is a constant. It doesn't have x with it at all. So we are going to have now y plus dy. This dy means change in y-axis is equal to 5 into bracket x plus the x squared. You can see the square on it. After you have put the bracket, that is when you put the square on it, because it is this x that means x plus the x here. I think you are clear with that. Minus 4 into bracket. This is x again. It will also increase as well. X plus the x. Close the bracket. Plus 3. Now, having done this now, we are going to open up all this bracket here. Now, for us to find the value of x plus the x in bracket squared, you can quickly work it somewhere. X plus the x. X plus the x. You now expand it. X times x, that's x squared. X times the x, that's plus x dx. The x times x, that's plus x ds again. You can see that it is the same x times the x. You know that. Then plus the x times the x will be the x squared. So we are having now x squared plus x ds plus x ds. That's what? Plus 2x dx, because they are the same value. This is 1x dx, 1x dx. That's the meaning of that. Plus the x squared. So we now insert that value into the position of this information here. We are going to have y plus the y will be equal to 5 into bracket x squared plus 2x dx plus the x squared, close the bracket, minus, let's open up this bracket now, minus 4 times x, that's minus 4x. This minus 4 again multiplied by plus the a, that's what? Minus 4 dx, because minus times plus is minus, then plus 3. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, you can see that this one is still inside the bracket. So I have to use this 5 to multiply all the terms inside this bracket here. So I'm going to have y plus the y will be equal to 5 times s squared. That will be 5s squared. 5 times plus 2x here, that's what? Plus 10x dx. 5 times the s squared, that's what? Plus 5 the s squared. Then I've used this 5 to multiply everything here. The remaining value minus 4x minus 4 dx plus 3. I think you're clear with what I'm doing now. Good. Now, at this stage, when you have all this value being opened up like this, what you will do at this next step is that you are going to find the value of the y alone here. You can see that what we have here is y plus the y. But what we are interested in is getting the value of the y the x. So I'm going to transfer this y to this side now. And this y here is having a positive sign. By times it comes here, it becomes negative. So I'm going to have the y now will be equal to 5x squared plus 10x dx plus 5 dx squared minus 4x minus 4 dx plus 3 minus y. Now, you have transferred this y to this side. And what do I mean by that y? What is the value of my y? Because everything here, all the variable here must be x variables. So what is the value given to us as y? If you look at the question given to us, this is the question given to us. 5x squared, y is equal to 5x squared minus 4x plus 3. Now, that one is now going to come in the place of this y. I think you get it that way. Good. So that one is going to come in the place of that y there now. We're going to so I'm going to have now the y will now be equal to 5x squared. I'm writing this all over again. Plus 10x dx plus 5 dx squared minus 4x minus what again? 4 dx plus 3 minus what is the value of y? The question given to us, that is 5x squared. Open the bracket for it. 5x squared minus 4x plus 3. Please take note of this. When you get to this level, at this stage now, you must make sure you open the bracket for this value that will represent this y here. Why? Because if you do not open up the bracket for it, it is only this 5x squared that is going to have effect of this negative value here. Whereas this one will not have effect, this one will not have effect. At the end of the day, the remaining solution to your question will be wrong. So take note of that step. Very well. So we're going to have now the y will be equal to 5x squared plus 10x dx plus 5 dx squared minus 4x minus 4 dx plus 3 minus 5x squared. You can see that minus times 5x squared, that's this positive sign here is minus 5x squared. Minus times minus here, that will plus 4x. Minus times plus is minus 3. So at this level, I've been able to simplify all this right hand side here. The next thing I'll do here is to collect the like terms, because some terms are looking alike there. So let's look at those terms that looks alike now. Now you cannot see that collect like terms. So 5x squared, we're having the y now will be equal to 5x squared. What other terms look like 5x squared? This is minus 5x squared. Minus 5x squared. Please underline it so that you'll be able to know those ones that you have removed and those ones that are left behind. So we have plus 10x dx. Does any other term, does it look like 10x dx? Does it look like, do you have any x dx there? No. X dx? No. So what is the next one? Plus 5 dx squared. Do you have any other dx squared value there? If you look at it, no other the x squared value. So that one has already gone to. Then minus 4x. Do you have any other x value there? This is the x. This is also plus 4x. Good. Plus 4x. Remove this as well too. Minus 4 the x. Underline that one too. Do you have any other the x value? No other the x value. Okay. Minus 4 the x. We have removed that one too. We are having behind what? Plus 3. Then we have minus 3. If you look at it now, you can see that all those terms I've been able to underline them. So I've removed them, shift them over to this side, and I've collected the like terms. Now the next thing I'll do is looks like those like terms. What are the relationship between them? What are those things that they will do with each other? Is it addition to one another? Is it subtraction from one another? Now I'm having here 5x squared minus 5x squared. It's like you say 5 minus 5, that will be 0. So this one will cancel each other out. That's 0. Then what other terms look alike again? minus 4x plus 4x. It's like you say 4x minus 4x. That is the same thing. That one also cancel each other out. Plus 3 minus 3. That one also cancel each other out as well. So in that regard now, I'm having behind the y will now be equal to 10x dx. 10x dx plus 5dx squared minus 4dx. That is the value I'm having for the y right now. But don't forget, I'm interested in finding the value of the y, the x. So let's look at the next step we're going to take now to get the y, the x. Okay, now the y has been gotten to be equal to 10x dx plus 5dx squared minus 4dx. Now, at this stage, what we are asked to find is the y dx. So, you can now say the y dx will be equal to this value. Now, for us to be able to say that, you will say divide through by the y dx, because what we are trying to look at is the ratio of the change in y-axis compared to change in x-axis. So, you can now say divide through by the x. Now, when I say divide through, I mean each of the terms that are separated by positive and negative signs, each of them will be divided by that, the x. That's what I mean by divide through. If I say divide both sides, then I will have the x over here, then the x over everything here. In other words, even if you have the x over everything here, what you are still going to get is going to be each of these terms here divided by that x, because they are separated by positive and negative signs. So let's go ahead and solve our question. The y dx now will be equal to 10x dx over the x plus 5 dx squared over the x minus 4 dx over the x. So I'm going to have this one goes off, division. It goes off. One of these here, this, the x squared means the x times the x. One of it will go off. It remaining just 5 the x there. Then this one will also goes off because we divide one another. So I'm going to have now the y dx to be equal to 10x. You can see this 10x here plus 5 dx minus 4. Now at this stage, whenever you see it like this now, that we are having just only a single value for the x, then what you are going to do here, look at the value of the y dx as the x tends to 0. Now the y dx as the x tends to 0, that's how you're going to do it. You do that, your arrow like that will be equal to 10x. Now, wherever you see the x, what do you put there? You put 0 there. What we are trying to do there is we are trying to find the limit of the value here. Plus 5 multiplied by 0 minus 4. So you can now have the final answer to be the y dx will be equal to 10x minus 4. This is the final answer for that step. If we are to make use of the formula method of solving the differentiation, this within 2, 3, 4 steps you'll have been through with it. I want to show you that method now, though it's not part of what we are asked to do. It is just to use it to check the answer if we are going to get the same answer compared to this question given to us now. So let's look at that right now. Now, don't forget this method, the formula that says that if y equal to ax raised power n, then the y dx will be equal to n, this n, ax raised power n minus 1. That is a formula method that we normally use in solving quadratic equations. Even if when you want to solve polynomials and some other question like that, you make use of this method. The application is very good and short to solve. So let's apply it here. Now, at each value of x, we are going to use this method there. So we're going to say we have y equal to 5x squared minus 4x plus 3. Now, if you look at this one here, you can see that what is our value of our a is 5 and the value of our n is 2. So let's follow it accordingly. We're going to have the y dx will be equal to 2 times 5. That will, it says NA. That n is up 2 times 5. NA x raised by what? N minus 1. What's n? 2 minus 1 plus 4. That will be, what is our n here? That will be 1, because you can see that there's nothing on it, but you cannot call it 0. It is 1. If it is not 1, then this one will be 1. It will just be 4, because if you call it 0, x raised by 0 will be equal to 1. So this one will just be, so it will be 1 multiplied by minus 4. Okay, minus, okay, let me just do it like this. Minus 1 multiplied by 4, x raised by what? What is the value here? I say it's 1. 1 minus 1 plus, what is the derivative of a constant? Don't forget, the derivative of a constant is 0, because it doesn't have any variables with it. There's no x with it, so it's going to be 0. So the y dx now will be equal to 2 times 5, that's 10x raised by what? 2 minus 1, that's what? 1. So 1 minus 1 times 4, that was 4 times x raised by 1 minus 1, x raised by what? 0. So that will be what? The y dx now will be equal to what? 10x, you don't need to put this 1 there, minus x raised by 0 is 1, 4 times 1. So the y dx, this level now will be equal to 10x minus 4. You see, the concept, compare it to one another, you can see that they mean the same thing. But look at the step we passed through before arriving at this one. You will have to make use of that first principle. You have to make sure that you learn how to follow those steps accordingly. It is easy to approach and you get your answer easily. If you make use of this, if you are asked to use first principle, you will not be given your answer at all. So follow the instruction accordingly. Thank you, and God bless.